So in this lab, we will be learning about limiting reactants. Please disregard the title on the lab that I uploaded. Like on the file, it says lab 4 and then it has the name from the previous lab. But anyway, this lab is about limiting reactants. So essentially what we're going to do in this lab is we are going to use it to confirm a limiting reactant problem that we're going to solve. So there is going to be like a part where you have to collect data and so on, but for the most part, you will be calculating things first and then using the lab to confirm it. So keep that in mind, like that's your workflow. And in these problems, we are going to be working specifically with this reaction. So this has to do with sodium chloride and then silver nitrate. And when we react it, we actually get a precipitate. So in chapter 4 is when we learn about precipitates, but essentially that's what this reaction is. And in this lab, we are going to determine which of these is a limiting reactant, right? We're going to calculate all of this. So we're going to determine the limiting reactant. We're going to determine which reactant is in excess, and then we are also going to practice determining what a theoretical yield would be. So we're going to be collecting data, obviously, for the first part. And for the most part, this data is you confirming masses and then making a solution and determining masses in there. So what I mean about this is on the first step, and like I said previously on lab 3, I might be a little bit vague in terms of this, but it's because I want you to go and read lab 3 after you watch this video. This is kind of just to get you, get your brain flowing about the main idea of everything, right? But in terms of details, please read the lab. So on the first step of collecting data, you are going to take one of the flasks, and it tells you which Erlenmeyer flask you're looking at, but you're going to confirm the masses of the sodium and the chloride ions. In the second step, you'll be determining masses of silver and nitrate. And before you actually determine the masses, you have to dissolve it. So you'll see in the video in this next slide how we do that. And then after that, we are actually going to react the two. So we're going to add 1 gram of silver nitrate into the 1 gram of sodium chloride solution. And then after all of this, you will do these problems listed after the collecting data portion. And then you will go back. So again, remember, keep that in mind. You're solving things first and then going back for these problem 1 and 2. You're going to solve how much silver nitrate must be added to consume the sodium chloride, and then you confirm the results using using virtual lab essentially. And the same thing for problem number 2. Okay, so I'm going to show you a little bit about what these major steps are. So my first step is to grab this 1 gram of sodium chloride. I moved it to my workbench. I'm just making sure that my information shows up. This information tab will show up right away, and I'm going to change the molarity to grams. So I change that to grams, and then that's what you are recording, these masses right here. You go back to your stockroom, so you're essentially done with number 1. This is step number 2. You have your solid silver nitrate. You have to actually dissolve it. So you confirm that it was 1 gram, and then now we are going to get some water, and we are going to add some water here. And the easiest way to do this is just pull it on top of the Erlenmeyer flask, and then just add 100 ml. So you can see me adding it. Okay, so now it dissolved, and now the grams of nitrate and silver are showing up, right? So you're gonna record these. Okay, and then the next step is I'm waiting for the video to show it. Okay, you're done. Now move that aside. Now go back to your stockroom. Now you're working with our original flask again. We are going to add 1 gram of silver nitrate to this. So you have to get your scale. You have to get a weighing dish, so a weighing boat. You bring that over. And then you are going to weigh what you need on top of that weighing boat. So you're going to tare, and then you're going to pour. And I didn't actually go through with it because I want you guys to do it on your own. But you're going to pour 1 gram, so you would put 1 gram right there, pour it, and then transfer it using the little weighing boat into that 1 gram NaCl solution. And then record the data that you need from there. Okay, so for data collection, obviously, again, follow the procedure and it'll tell you which steps you need to collect data on. Follow the table. It's pretty much just as long as you follow it, you'll kind of be able to keep along. And please record all sig figs to what your scale allows and what the information tab gives you. Please get as many sig figs as you can. For part C, you will base everything off the data that you collected, and then from there you should be able to tell without even calculating anything, honestly, which reactant was your limiting and which one is in excess. For the applied exercises, this may take you a little bit, like a little while, but if you do this applied exercise, I promise you it will help you understand limiting reactants even more if you're still at a point where you're kind of still like in a limbo, like, okay, I kind of understand this, I kind of know what I need to calculate, but this will definitely help you if you take it step by step on what it asks you to calculate. So watch the video, fill out the data table, and then you'll calculate everything for questions 1 through 6, and then for the rest of the questions, you just give me like a 1-sentence answer, and that'll be enough.